Hey everybody, Blugoblin here from my latest Midtown Comics Stash review here on my main channel. I want to thank you all for joining me. I'm going to be reviewing the 3 books I got last week. I got a new stash in just today, and I want to thank Midtown Comics and one of my best friends in the world, best in the world, my student Chris, TheMtVernonKid. I want to thank him for that. I'll read those as soon as I get done with this. I also want to apologize for being a little bit tardy with this review. I was going to do this review shortly after I did my last one, but some personal issues came up, and I'll just leave it at that. And it got delayed, so I apologize for that. We're going to go in reverse alphabetical order for this one, just for shits and giggles. All right. We're going to start with Vertigo, and we got Scott Snyder and Sean Murphy doing The Wake, issue number 1 of 10. Suggested for mature readers. Didn't really come off as all that mature. I mean, there was a couple of panels where somebody cursed. You know, somebody said bullshit and shitless, and then there was goddamn. I'm like, just 3 words make this a mature comic book. Whatever. Could have easily just censored those words and made it a regular book. That's just how I feel. But all in all, this was alright. This was actually pretty good. There's like, this all involves like different parts in time. We're seeing a woman going around in a flooded city, and then they show like 200, I believe it was 200 years prior to that, and we get to see a doctor. She's like on a Bluetooth headset talking to her kid and everything, and trying to set up a deal, trying to set up a meeting. You know, it's like they want to see each other. You know, that's cool and all. That was a pretty cool moment. I like the conversation, and I think they have a pet whale, and she gets a surprise visit from somebody she used to work with, and the tension in here was really thick. She's willing to talk to him, but you can obviously tell right away that these two don't like each other, or she don't like him. You know, it is just incredible. It's just incredible how tense this scene was, and wasn't really much to talk about. They're needing a mission. It's like they need her help with something, and they give her a story, but we find out later on in the book that the story he fed her was bullshit. And once they go for their mission and everything, and everybody's met and everything, we find out that everybody on this mission was told a different story, and they end up going down in the ocean. And they find something that's being done illegally, and I'm just going to leave it at that because I don't want to give everything away, because I don't think a lot of people read too much independent comics, but that's just how I feel. But the ending of this book was kind of whoa. I mean, there was a twist near the end of this book that just for me, it just came out of nowhere. I didn't know what to think, but I'm not going to spoil what it was. I'm not going to ruin how the cliffhanger goes. I'm just going to say, whoa, this was pretty good. I will be honest, Chris. I know you know that. I know you know that better than anybody. But I'm going to be honest. I wasn't really expecting that much from this, and then I read it and I was like, nice. I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. All right, moving on. Sonic the Hedgehog, number 249. This is part 6 of 12 of the Worlds Collide story. Now, I wasn't able to get part 5 because I believe part 5 was Sonic Universe, and I wasn't able to get that issue due to Midtown Comics had to back order it because it sold out. And I still haven't gotten it yet. I don't know what's going on, but I wasn't able to get that. But I watched Chris review it on his comic book review channel, and I got the gist of it. You know, Sonic and Mega Man, and everybody teamed up and fought some robots, and we got a big dun cliffhanger at the end of the last issue, revealing all of Sonic's friends and the Chaotix as robot masters, and that's basically where we are right here. This cover does a fine job of hinting what goes on in here. Yeah, they switch sidekicks. Sonic works with Rush for a bit, and Tails works with Mega Man for a bit. Thought that was really neat. And like Chris said, I mean, when you grew, it's like not too many people grew up the way me and Chris did. We grew up in the '80s, the best decade of all time, where it was cool. It was the best time to be a kid. It was the best time to be in the cartoons and video games. And when you were a kid growing up, you grew up with stuff like this. You grew up with Nintendo, and you grew up with video games like with Sega Genesis and stuff. That's what you grew up with. And to see a crossover like this, it was like bringing Nintendo and Sega together again and saying, "Hey, we're going to work together." And it's just that's how it feels for me. And I thought it was a genuine gesture by Archie. By Sega and Capcom. But this issue, we get to see Sonic and Mega Man working much more well together as they progress. And boy, it's getting dark all of a sudden. I had the windows open for sunlight, and but Tails is able to rework Mega Man's Buster and enable it to cure the robot masters. I'm sorry for spoiling that, but it was a pretty nice touch, and something that I saw in here that I was like, oh my god, this, you want to talk about reminiscing. When Mega Man zaps the robot masters that used to be Sonic's friends, and when he cures them, he gives them a little glowing orb, and Mega Man grabs it and he absorbs their weapon. It's like playing those classic Mega Man games on the NES. It's like weapon, and I love how they put it, weapon get, and he gets the weapon. But I love how it's like that's how they used to, in the old Mega Man games. That's the term they used when Mega Man absorbed a robot master's powers. It said weapon get, and I was like, these guys did their homework. The writing was good. The artwork on the interior artwork, I didn't hate it, but then again, I didn't really love it. There were times where I thought it could have been a little bit better. But one thing I really like is how well Dr. Robotnik and Dr. Wily are getting along. You would expect two massive egos like them to, butt heads on just about everything. But we get the exact opposite of that. These two get along so well. They might as well be a couple. It's just so funny. And so it is just so hilarious to see just how well these two evil geniuses get along. It's almost like they click. They finish each other's sentence. It's like, it's awesome. You're expecting the cliches like, I'm smarter than you. No, I'm smarter than you. Blah, 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 blah. And we actually get the bad guys getting along. At times a little bit better than the heroes did, but it's fun. This was good. I really enjoyed this. I can't really complain. I loved it. All right. Last up for this review video, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, number 2. Keith Giffen popped my hand Hope I pronounced the artist's name right, but yeah, get a look at that cover if you can. That cover is just bitchin'. Yeah, if you didn't read the first issue, oh my god, the cliffhanger at the end of the first issue with the villain here got unmasked and was revealed to be Adora, aka She-Ra. I went, oh my god! I freaked when I saw that cliffhanger last issue. And in here, we get to see how wicked Adora is in this world. And Skeletor gets one brief little mention in a panel in this book, but really the big imminent threat is Hordak. Yeah, if you actually watched the She-Ra cartoon, the bad guy in that cartoon was Hordak, and that's who the big threat is. That's the being that everybody's talking about in this issue, that everybody's seems to be afraid of. And there are some people who believe him to be just simply a myth and not actually real. Trust me, he's real. But the fact that they're going to apparently maybe using Hordak as the main villain of this particular run, I don't mind that, because how much can you do with Skeletor that they haven't done already? I mean, in the previous He-Man run, I believe and I was able to read that thanks to a buddy of mine who let me borrow his copies. But they made Skeletor He-Man's uncle, and they also put him in an alliance with Orko of all people. I went, whoa! I'm like, how can you top that? And it's like, and now you're bringing in Hordak, and knowing how that they're writing this series, if you're able to flip Adora and make her suddenly just like badass, evil, wicked bitch, if you're able to make Adora into that, what can you possibly do with Hordak? I am so excited to keep reading this. Oh god, I cannot even describe how much I'm geeking out about this series. This is simply phenomenal. I love the characters in here. Teela, I loved Teela in here. She was so awesome in here. It's like if Starling from the Birds of Prey, still good guy Starling before they flipped her heel for no fucking reason. It's like if they took Starling and put her in the Masters of the Universe universe, and I was like, wow, I loved everything about this. I mean, sure, some of the dialogue schemes kind of dragged a little bit, but overall, this was just fantastic. I'm not going to spoil how the book ends. I'm just going to say, get on board with this series. I'm glad Chris in Midtown sent this to me. I'm really excited to see where they go from here. And because of this, I am forever grateful to Chris in Midtown, because Chris knows that I'm a poor man, and I can barely afford what I got on my pull list now. So I'm forever grateful, Chris. Bro fist, man. I love you, man. This was good. This was so good. I'm done geeking out. Alright. I want to thank y'all for watching this review. I'll get to work on reading these books. I got a lot of books to read for the next stash. Subscribe to this channel and subscribe to my second channel, Blugoblin X. That's where my main comic book reviews are temporarily at until I can get out of my hot water with YouTube. Thanks again for watching, everybody. I'll see y'all later.